Hey there, welcome to Pixelados, the podcast where design, personal growth, and business come all together without all the complicated stuff. I'm your host, Ronald Rosales. Hi everybody, this is a new episode, and in this case I want to talk about a frequent question that everybody who hires me to create or to design their websites doesn't know. So in some cases, or I will say most of the cases, because you're a business owner, you really know all the technicalities behind what it is a website or what services a website involve. And the purpose of this episode is to explain you in an easy way what it is, all these weird words like domain, hosting, SSL, certificate, or CMS, or all these gibberish words that in most of the cases you don't really need to know that, but it's always good to know, because if you are hiring somebody to create your website and if they don't disclose this payment, you will be like, okay, what is this that I'm paying? And or maybe they give you some information, they give you some, okay, this is your domain, this is your host. I mean, I don't know what is that, and some people don't explain and some other do explain. So in this case, I want to walk you through all these different services so you have a better understanding of what it is. Let's break it out into pieces. So what you need to know before creating your website, aside of, okay, what is my business and all that. But on the technical side, you need to know what the domain, what the hosting, what the SSL certificate or the CMS are, all these services. I highly recommend to get a maintenance plan, because your website needs to be maintained. Okay, so let's start with the part number one, which is the domain. When you think about the domain, it's like your address, your physical address. Let's say that you want to put your website in the 5th Avenue of New York. You need to go and, okay, this will be my address. So same with your website, you need to know what will be the name of your website. Let's say that your name is like storename.com. So that's the address of your website. So you have to have that before creating your website. And I highly recommend this to be handled by you and not by your designer or your developer, because whenever you are buying this domain, your information or your business information will be disclosed on this page. There are services that you can search and see, okay, who is this domain, and then it will show all the information about your company. This can be created for you by your developers or your designers, but it's very I recommend you to try to handle this on your own. So you have your own account in that, and you will need to pay this yearly. In some cases it could be as cheap as $10, but some other domains can be a little bit more expensive because let's say they're premium domains or something like that. So it could be $100, $50. It depends on the domain name that you want to buy. And you can buy these even before creating your website. Let's say that you created your company, you have your LLC, and then you know that in the future you will have a website. It's easy to go to GoDaddy or Hostinger or any domain provider and just purchase this domain, and you will have the domain in your power, so nobody will steal it from you. So think about the domain as your address, your physical address, the zip code and all that. So and this is a yearly payment. Okay, some things to keep in mind. The second part that you need to pay attention to is the hosting. Think about the hosting as your building, or the building where your store is gonna live. So in your hosting is where your files, images, text, everything related to your website will be stored. So and you need to keep in mind that if you're paying for a cheap hosting, it could be the case that your website will load slow, or your website will be like not accessible in times, because good hosting has several locations around the world, and if somebody tries to access to your website from, I don't know, France, It's easy because they have a nearby hosting, so the request don't need to go and travel over to United States in order to locate the information of your website. It's as easy to go to the domain nearby, the nearby location, and access to your files. So think about the hosting like an archive, like a big tower with a bunch of drawers that you need to open. When somebody puts your name into Google, storename.com, Google will say, okay, what is this IP address, the domain, boom, and the domain will be connected to your hosting. So now, because Google knows the address and the address knows where is the physical location or the hosting, it's easy to open that drawer, access to the information, and show the website. Okay, in some cases, depending on the hosting provider, this could be a monthly payment or a yearly payment. Usually it's around $100 and $200 a year if you pay a year, and monthly it's gonna be like $10 or $20 a month or something. So it's something like the rent on your store. Okay, if you're on the physical location, you need to pay a rent. This will be the rent of your website. Now that you have your domain and your hosting, you need to put some security into your website. This is where the SSL certificate comes into play, because you need to think about this like as your security system. It's like if you were to put locks on your door, your windows, or every entry point of your physical store. This will be the same, but for your website. If you are collecting emails of your clients, payments, or you have any other information that you don't want it to be accessible to everybody, it's very, very advisable to have a SSL certificate. Even for a brochure website, get the SSL certificate, because this will show Google that you are you pay attention to the security of the information in your website, and it's gonna be it's gonna be better for the ranking in when the browser is looking for you. And also, you don't want to show that not secure badge when you somebody access to your website, because that shows that you don't care about the security of their information in your website. Okay, so some hostings offer this for free, usually for the first year, and then they start charging you. It's around you can find it like $60, $80, depending of the provider. And you need to keep in mind that if your website has it's a e-commerce where you will have you will be handling credit card information, names, and all that like sensitive data. I will suggest you to have a higher tier on the security, because you want your information to be as secure as possible. Okay, so SSL certificate, yearly payment as well, and is like your security system in your store. You have your domain, your hosting, your certificate, everything. It's okay, but where is the information going to be built? So this is where the content management system, or CMS, comes into play, because this is like let's think about, you have your store. Okay, you have the address of the store, you have the building where the store is gonna be, but you need somebody to organize information or organize all the products inside the store. This will be your store manager. So you could use WordPress, you could use Wix, Figma, Framer, Webflow. All those will help you to organize the information, and you can have some of these platforms are easy to use, some other are a little bit more challenging to use. But at the end of the day, it depends on how often are you going to update your content. If it's gonna be like a blog kind of thing, I will suggest to use WordPress. Even if you're using an e-commerce, WordPress is also a good one. Wix, Wix is very popular. It's having and also Squarespace, but I don't really like those two, because they're you cannot do much. It's very, very enclosed and very it's not very nice. Webflow and Framer, they're really good. You can do great things about it. But if you want flexibility, WordPress, Webflow, and Framer are like good choices to have. I like WordPress because WordPress has been around forever, and there are a lot of plugins. Whenever is essentially you can do whatever you want on WordPress, so I really like that one. And also it's like very commonly used, and the community is very strong, so whenever you have a problem you will have somebody to help you out if you have to. Yeah, like I said, choosing the right platform depends on your needs. If you want to have a blog, WordPress will be the way to go. If you want to have like a really easy and like not very often updating brochure website, Webflow could be one, or Framer. So that depends on you and your developer as well. I usually ask if my client has any experience with any content management system, and if they want to use any of those like WordPress, I will happy to do it. Otherwise, yeah, I usually recommend one platform based on the project, of course. If it is an easy brochure website, any of them will work. But if it is a very complex one, maybe WordPress will be the way to go. Some of these are like have some payment attached to it. For example, Squarespace, Webflow, and Framer, even Wix. You don't need to have a hosting on your own because they will provide the hosting for you. So you need to pay the monthly plan on their platform, and then your website will be stored in there. You will have to have the domain. You need to have the domain on your name. But the hosting on some of these, because they're very closed, they don't want anyone to access to the information. That is why they provide the hosting directly on their services. You know where are you going to build your website? Now you need to hire somebody to do the design and the development of the website. Think about this like your interior setup. Somebody that is going to say, okay, I think you should locate your products on this area of the store, or the checkout will be there. I mean, it's gonna essentially organize that. That is a designer point of view, and then the developer will say, okay, it's I mean, these kind of shelves are more accessible than the other, and it's gonna give you like all these guidelines about how to build your store. Okay, in this case, you can have like custom design that give you a lot of flexibility and uniqueness, or you can get a template that could be faster and cheap, but it can be limited in what you want to do. Okay, think about these, that it's you need to keep your customer in mind whenever you are building your website, because you want them to have a good user experience. So you don't want them to be like, I don't know what I need to do, I don't know where to go, or something like that. You need to have a clear navigation, you need to have a clear user journey in your platform, so that in this way, if you're getting a good support from the design and the developer, you probably will have a good website. Okay, and good websites end up doing like getting you leads and clients at the end of the day. Okay, now the maintenance. It's like the cleaning and fixing of the store. You think about every day you open the store, customer come in, do a disaster on the store, and then everybody leaves. You need to have somebody to clean up the store and to put everything in place again for the next day. So this is a service that I highly recommend to get, because you want your website to be always up to date. After the launch of your website, you may need to have changes, and this is where the maintenance plan comes into place. It's not always included in the original price, although some developers include like a 1 month support after they launch the website, but it's usually as like a upsell after you build and design the website. Your designer or your developer can offer you a maintenance plan, and you can decide if you want to use it or not. I highly recommend to use it, because you don't want your website to be outdated and vulnerable for hackers. Okay, if your website is on WordPress, you need to update plugins every 2 weeks or so. So you want to have that maintenance plan, or you want to If you don't want to get a maintenance plan, you can ask for a tutorial and see what are the things that you need to keep updated in your website on the backend, so you have your website always up to date. Now that we cover every single service that you have to have on your website, there are other invisible services that you may want to pay attention to. For example, backups. You want to have a backup of your website every day or every week if possible, because that will be like your insurance policy in case that somebody comes an update of a plugin or something happens to your website. You have a previous backup to put back and keep your website running all the time. Also, I suggest you to have like analytics. Think about them like security cameras and counters to see what works and what it doesn't. Let's say that you have the home page and you have 4 other pages in your website. You don't have any visit of those pages. You may want to make changes in the home page in order to lead your users to go to those pages. So this is always handy to have. Email setup. Most of the hosting providers have like a free account, or they provide some kind of an email services. This is something that you want to keep in mind, because whenever somebody buys something in your store, it's better to have like the email from sales@yourstore.com than justin@gmail.com. I mean, who's this Justin? I don't know. What is this? It's better to have your own email, your business email, attached to your store in case that you need to do any email communication. Also, SEO, it's always good to have that service in case that because you want that the content that you have on your website, it's good for people to read, and it makes sure that people find you easily, and this will help you doing like going higher on the search result. Keep in mind that these SEO services they're not like a one-time payment. It's like usually like a recurrent payment, because this is a work that needs to be done throughout a bunch of months in order to make your content the best way possible. So it's not something that's going to happen from in 1 week. So this is you need to hire somebody who is very skilled in this area, because it's not something that everybody knows how to do, and this is something that is changing all the time. It changes with the algorithm, so everything is like a very hot and active area. So you want to have somebody who are up to date and everything on that. And that was all that I have for you today. If you have any questions, if you think about any terminology that I didn't cover on this video, please add it to the comments, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell and all that, because by doing that I make sure that every comment that I get on the video, I can address it on a future video. Or I can just reply on the comments below. So it's always nice to interact with you guys whenever you want to. Okay, so thank you again for listening to me, and thank you if you are on YouTube, thank you for view this video, and I hope this content will be very helpful for you in the future. So speak to you soon. Bye.